not too many rows. And during the launch sequence, Tom is sitting to my left, and he kind of taps my shoulder, and he points down the row. And I look over, and there's John Glenn, and he's gripping the handrest. And I realized, oh my God, this guy's reliving his own moment of being on the launch pad. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. Little name dropping. President Clinton, John Glenn, hanging out at a urinal. That's a lot of fun.
I think that's officially my favorite convention story ever. I'm gonna have to remember that.
Just hanging it out, I guess I should say. How's your hammer hanging?
There's some very eager fans out in the audience to ask some questions. So Bernie, mic 3, where are you, Bernie?
It's not actually, it's not actually a question, it's more of a statement. You Hydra bastard.
Actually, they're going to change the name of the show. Agents of Hydra, I mean, it's got a lot catchier title. Yeah, you know what, I like those Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, but they're just a little too square for me, if you know what I mean.
Jason, mic 1.
I know, over here.
Yes, you Hydra bastard.
You've had so many great characters with memorable lines, but what is your favorite line?
They mostly come out at night. Mostly.
Got Scott down here, mic 2. Yes.
Hey Bill, I just wanted to ask, you've had some of the most epic death scenes. Do you have a favorite?
You can compete with Sean Bean on that level, actually.
Gee. Nothing's coming to mind right off the bat. I'm trying to think when I died last. I guess I died a few weeks ago. Well, it seemed like the Aliens one was kind of a great one because I got to kind of go down Audie Murphy stuff. I mean, let's face it, Hudson was wrapped a little too tight for the mission, and his cowardly tendencies kind of came out for most of the thing, but at least he got to go down like a man, doing you want some of this? Hey. That was my Bob De Niro moment. Hey, you want some of this? You alien, fuck you. Oh shit! Ah! Thank you. Yeah, you can play characters you don't like, but as an actor, you never judge the character you're playing. So, as far as I'm concerned, all the characters I've played, good and bad, they think they're good. I don't think people think, oh, I'm a bad guy. And I find that the villains usually have a lot more, they've got a lot more courage of their convictions than the heroes. Usually the hero's the guy who has to kind of rise to the occasion, and the villain's already risen.
Elijah, down mic 2.
Yeah. So what is your favorite scene in Apollo 13?
Let's see, my favorite scene in Apollo 13. Let's see, what's your favorite scene? Take your time, there's no rush.
I think the launch scene.
Yeah, I think that launch sequence is pretty badass. Yeah, it really is. Cool, man, cool. I gotta say too, the zero gravity stuff that we did in there was really a unique experience. We got to go down to space camp in Huntsville for a couple days, and then they took us over. This was Gary Sinise, Kevin Bacon, Tom Hanks, Ron Howard, and myself. And we got to go over down to Houston, and we got to go up in the Vomit Comet, this old 707. It's aptly named, I must say. And we got to go up with some other astronaut trainees. and it's a really cool plane. I don't know if you've ever seen it in any documentaries, but it's only got like 10 rows of seats in the back of the plane. The rest of the front of the plane's all empty and kind of padded. It goes up to 39,000 feet, and then they pull the yoke back, and they do what they call these parabolic arches. And as from the top of the arch, for 30 seconds, you're in kind of a free fall. So it's really an artificial gravity. Basically, the plane is falling so fast, it's compensating for the pull of the gravity and creates a weightlessness. If you've ever been in a plane crash, you kind of know what I mean. Maybe not. I thought of a dark joke, but we won't go there. But we got to do that, and that was really a cool experience. Except when they would say 30 down, and when they said 30 down, that meant they were going to pull the yoke back, come out of the dive, and you practically triple your own body weight from the G-force. And the best way to take the G's is lying down, so you kind of take them through your body this way. If you're standing up and you take those G's, it feels like you're growing gills. And yeah, there was a lot of vomit floating around that day.
I'm sensing a theme with this panel.
Yeah, we have kind of a theme going here. I think we do, yeah. Right. Thanks for your question.
Lynn, like 3. You're up.
You mentioned that you really like doing villains, and may I commend you on your ability to do so. Your character in Big Love, would you consider him to be a villain in that show?
No, not at all. Would you consider him to be a villain?
A little bit.
I don't, no, this, you know, what you have with what's interesting about Big Love is, you know, people think, oh, it's a show about a polygamist. Well, really, no, it's a show about 4 adults who've entered into a marriage contract. And let's face it, we live in a modern world, and there's all kinds of, you know, groupings of people who decide to live together, you know, same-sex couples, couples from other religions and cultures. And polygamy's been around, it's in the Bible, it's been around forever. There are all kinds of cultures that today that still practice polygamy. So I think to think of me as a villain in that is to kind of be a bit Victorian in a way. And kind of,
Just to clarify, it's not the polygamy I had a problem with.
What did you have a problem with?
Or business practices.
Oh, well, yes, yeah. Yeah, I did get my back against the wall there, and I did do a few unscrupulous things. I think the worst thing I did on the show really was when I kind of threw my business partner under the bus so that the store wouldn't go down. But you know, it was for the greater good. Thank you.
Tony, on like 2, you're up.
She had me sweating a bit there.
Oh, they got my name wrong. Never mind. Hey, Bill, I actually storyboarded for you on The Colony, where you played yet another villain. And speaking of villains, I've got to know, how far in advance, when you read for the role for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., did you know what you were going to become?
Wait, I didn't hear the first part of that.
Oh, I storyboarded you on The Colony.
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
Yeah. You actually played a villain in that
Oh,
one.
yes. Well, I don't know if I was a villain. I just had kind of a, see again, I had kind of a Darwinian outlook on life, you know. Darwinian. All right. I don't know how often you can say that. Yes, I have a rather Darwinian outlook. Kill or be killed. So when I signed up for S.H.I.E.L.D., I knew a little bit because I kind of knew a little bit. I didn't know ultimately where it was going to go, but I had a pretty good idea of the general direction it was headed. What?
Admit it.
I did. I'm sick of playing straight guys. I got a belly full of it. Yeah, no, it's much more fun to, I feel like you can see it in the performance itself, from when I go from Agent John Garrett to, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. to John Garrett, Hail Hydra. It's just a whole other thing, It's like, it's very liberating. I hated playing that game like I was all buddy-buddy with them and stuff. It's what a bore. In Saffron Burrows, I did feel a little pang of guilt when she got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Steve, mic 1.
Welcome to Calgary.
Thank you.
There seems to be some debate on your side whether or not you're a villain in many of these movies.
That's true.
More to the point, you like being a badass more?
The ultimate badass.
So, given that, in the history of all your movies, by the way, Chet was the best.
He was badass.
This group right here loves Chet. The Chet fan club.
What character in any other franchise would you like to play that you haven't had a chance to yet?
The Joker. Why don't I get along with me? Why so serious? Something like that. Something that had some theatricality and some relish. Maybe some extra mustard.
Would the Joker say, "You're all gonna die, man"?
Yes, but he might say it more like, "You're all gonna die, man." Thank you.
Start a petition, guys.
He was a plant. Sorry.
Rich, mic 3.
Hey Bill, first of all, happy 30th anniversary for Streets of Fire and Terminator. 30th anniversary on both, man. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I lost count a long time ago. Those residual checks kind of are down to like 50 cents now, so they don't really grab my attention.
All right, so let's see. You had some of the most outrageous hair in your movies.
Yes.
Clyde the bartender, big pompadour. You got Terminator with the blue spiky hair. Of course, Chet, the best buzz cut in the history of cinematic history. So which was your favorite hairdo?
I have to say Chet wins that trifecta. And I'll tell you a story about that haircut. You got about 3 hours. There was a guy named Michael Germain. He actually was the hairstylist for Streets of Fire. And he always kind of wore his hair in kind of a 50s style, kind of really waxed on the sides. And he had one of those mustaches that he curled up on the end. And I started shooting, I only shot one scene in Highland Park. The movie started shooting on location in Chicago for about 2 weeks. Then it all came back to Universal Studios. And the Donnelly house, the interior of the Donnelly house, was later at the same stage. I think it's stage 24. It's one of the older stages on the lot. Is where Mission Control was for Apollo, so that was kind of cool. But anyway, we were in the makeup and hair trailer. We'd figured out, I'd had the wardrobe, I'd put it all on, but I just felt like, we'd come up with all this stuff. John Hughes and I kind of figured out the idea that Chet's probably home from military college, but the hair was not decided on, and I just felt like I looked okay with the camouflage gear on, and we're talking about the scene where I had come back from the duck hunting. It's the next day after the crazy party, and I get out of the car, and I've got a shotgun in one hand and this duck in the other, and I see the Maserati and the Ferrari, and I'm walking into the house. And so I said to Michael Germain, I need a haircut that's going to really set this thing on fire. God, somebody keeps calling me. Good Lord, it must be an emergency of huge proportions. Oh, good Lord, it's my son James. Hey James, I'm doing a panel in front of a couple thousand people here.